Hello and good morning, everyone. This is Craig over at Neptune Comics in Waukesha, Wisconsin. I haven't video blogged since Friday of last week, but for good reason. Weekends I usually take the weekend off, and then Monday I went down to Chicago for the Retailers Roadshow, DC's Retailers Roadshow. It was to give retailers more information on what this relaunch is going to be all about and what they're planning, or some of their plans on what's going to be happening. So I just kind of wanted to go today. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update on what the new DC universe might look like, and what some of their plans are. First off, they did this in like 5 different cities, and this was the largest group that they had. And by my count, there was about 60 people, 60 retailers in the room. So that, considering there's around 2,500 specialty comic book shops around the nation, 60 seems a little small. I mean, it's only the Midwest, but still a little small. But it was the largest turnout, so that tells you something. What they were really focusing on, or what they first were telling us, is that DC Comics needed a shot in the arm. They were watching sales go down and down and down, and they just needed something to give them a shot. And so they came up with this idea of kind of rebooting, not really a reboot, but renumbering all their books back to number 1 and go from there. This is, according to Dan Didio, this is not a stunt. This is not an event. This is really going to, they really just want to change their thinking and change the way they make comics going forward. And they wanted to get new readers involved, as well as old readers. Dan was also saying that the more changes that you see in a character in this new universe, the more likely that character needed the change. So the less changes that you see in a character, the better selling that book probably was. He gave, for instance, a Batman and Green Lantern. A lot of their stuff isn't going to be changing. A lot of the stuff that you've been currently reading in the books is pretty much going to stay there. But with Batman #1, Detective #1, you can start again fresh, but there's still going to be that stuff in the history for those characters. Things that are changing that they thought needed sprucing up, like Superman. He's going to get some sprucing up here. They wanted to make their universe younger and fresher and more up to date with the times, so that people can relate more with their characters, instead of, they were finding that their characters were getting older and older and older. And so was their fan base. So they kind of wanted to re-energize their fan base, their characters, and this is the way they're going to do it. Will it work? That's to be, figured out, in the trenches, but coming in September. Also, they are going to be breaking it up into several different categories, their books. They're going to have what they call families. They're going to have the Batman family books, the Superman family books, JLA family books, Justice League family books, I should say, Green Lantern family books, Young Justice, which is pretty much going to be like their teenage characters type books. They're also going to do what they're calling The Edge and The Dark, which is going to be more of a a little bit more horror, a little bit more mystical, where you're going to have Deadman and Zatanna type of characters in that kind of realm. What else did we talk about? Dan also talked about Superman, in that Superman is the first hero that the world is going to know in this new DC universe. He's going to be the first one to pop up and show up. He said that Superman is kind of the year zero, and what happens, and what Grant is going to start telling in Superman, or in Action Comics, is how he comes up with his costume. And then when you meet Superman in Justice League. I know Justice League comes out first, but what you see in Justice League is kind of like 5 years before Superman, 5 years after Action Comics comes out. So it's kind of, he said Superman's kind of year zero, JLA or Justice League is year one. And they don't want to go back and try to retell old stories that they've already told. He said they're on the shelf, they're there for anybody to read them. They want to come up with new, fresh ideas. So one of the questions I had for Dan is in the covers that they're going to be developing, are they going to be story driven, where you look at the cover and you're going to be like, oh, I wonder if that happens in the book, or if it's going to be just the character swinging on a line or whatever. And he said that they're going to actually be story-driven covers. So I kind of find that good, because growing up reading comics, you always picked up a comic book, and you always, in the 70s and 80s especially, you look at the cover and there was, some part of that story was on the cover, and it kind of drew your interest on what was happening. So that was basically kind of the rundown. All the other stuff was, really insider baseball on what they're going to try to help provide with retailers and stuff, but I kind of wanted to give you guys more of a sense of what DC is going to be trying to do in the future here with their new line of comic books. It really sounds refreshing. It sounds like it's made for new readers, and it also takes old readers into this universe too. So if you are an older reader that are like, oh, what's going to happen with all this stuff that I currently have, I think DC is really trying to let you guys be in on this whole thing, and you don't have to throw away the 80 years of canon or whatever. Some of it will change, but some of it will stay, and they're going to just do their best to try to keep that up. What's really interesting for me, or fun for me as a comic book reader, is that these comic books, if I was born in basically say 1920, and I was a kid at the newsstand in 1938 when Action Comics first came around, and I picked that up, and getting in on the ground floor where everything starts. That's kind of what this is all about. Is that I'm not saying that the Action Comics that you purchase is going to be worth $1 million. Don't get me wrong on that. But I think it's going to be a really great, fun ride if you guys start at the beginning and work your way through. For the little bit of knowledge that you guys might have with the DC Universe, or a lot of knowledge that you guys have in the DC Universe, I think this is going to be a really fun ride for everybody. So there you have it. If you have any kind of questions that I can possibly answer, I don't have all the answers, of course, but drop us an email or comment on any of our comment sections, and we'll try to get back to you. We'll try to get the answers. Also, tomorrow is a big day for us. We got Chris Burnham and Mike Norton coming in to do a signing here at Neptune Comics from 3 to 6 p.m. They're really great guys. Chris is on Batman Incorporated, which will continue in the DC new universe. And also issue number 7 of that comes out tomorrow, so you'll be able to get a first look at it. Plus, maybe Chris will share some insights on what's going to go on with that. Also, Mike Norton is going to be here. We have plenty of his material that you guys can look through and pick up. I really highly suggest you guys come down, take a look at what these guys can do, because it's really a cool thing just to see these guys work and interact with people. They're really fun guys. So hope to see you guys tomorrow, and sorry it went a little long. I had a lot to cover today with the DC stuff. So we'll talk to you tomorrow, and see you later.